Hello everyone, John Odom, drum set and percussion teacher. I'm filming today once again here at Orlando Fine Arts Academy. We are a music and art school here in Lake Nona in Orlando. And today I'm going to refilm or revisit a video that I filmed last year. Sometimes I've noticed what happens with practice and when we work on different ideas with a musical instrument is sometimes as experienced players, experienced musicians, I believe sometimes we can work on some ideas and concepts and then maybe kind of go on to different ideas, and because there's so much we can work on. Okay, so many different ideas with grooves and fills as far as the drum set goes. And then sometimes we can kind of maybe let those go for a while and then come back to these different ideas for practice. And so last year I filmed a video on an exercise to actually work on building up your weaker hand. Okay, so if you're a right-handed drummer, normally that's going to be your left hand. Okay, if you're a left-handed drummer, normally that's going to be your right hand. There are few drummers, there are some who are equally skilled or ambidextrous with both hands. But anyway, so for me it's my left hand. Now the inspiration for this actually came from Jack Bennett, and I'll put the link to this to his video. He wasn't playing this exactly, but what he was playing was a really cool groove idea around the toms, okay, using the toms and snare to fill in 16th notes, okay. So I kind of took that idea. I was like, well, how else can I play this? So here's what I came up with. Now, what this is going to start off as a weak hand building exercise. I'm going to add to that. So it's going to start off like this. Now, I always tell all my students, you always count when you're playing. You need to count, okay? Because every musician should know how to count. Eighth notes, quarter notes, 16th notes, etc. We got to be able to count our subdivisions. So this is going to be played like this. You're going to start on the hi-hat, okay? Going to play your bass drum on beat 1, and then you're going to play 16th notes here. 1, E, and 2. Bass drum again. 3, E, and 4. So your bass drum is going to play on 1 and 3. Your snare drum is going to play on 2 and 4, like a standard groove, okay? But instead of us playing something like this, okay, we're going to be filling in 16th notes with our left hand. Now, you can play 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4. Yes, that's a variation. I personally like leaving the very first beat out with the left hand, because it's, in a way, a little more challenging to play just your kick on 1 and then adding your 16th notes. But of course you can do it both ways, okay? But you just continue around the kit, right? So next we're going to go to the mid tom, same idea. 1 E and 2, and then to the floor tom. 3 E and a 4. So one more time around the kit, starting on the hi-hat. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4, 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4. So you want to get that down first. Now the reason why it's a weak hand building exercise is oftentimes we're not really used to our weak hand playing that many notes. Now it will play that many notes if you're, or more notes when we're playing fills, different fills, depending on the type of fills you're playing. Some different grooves, like if you're playing a two-handed 16th note groove, you can get used to playing more notes. But a lot of times our weaker hand really mainly just concentrates on playing the backbeat on 2 and 4. So that's why I like this type of exercise to, number one, it gets your weaker hand used to getting around the kit. Number two, it really does help build it up, help get it at least hopefully more equal or closer to being equal with your stronger hand. So this is starting off as strictly a weak hand building exercise. Now what I did, and what I've watched other drummers and teachers talk about this is, well, you take one exercise, you expand on it, okay? and you start to look at it and start to think about it and say, well, how else can I play this, or what else can I possibly add to this, okay? Now, this can turn into a possible a groove idea. I'm approaching it primarily it's going to become, it's a weekend building exercise, but now it's also going to morph or change into an independence exercise as well, okay? I'm going to play a polyrhythm. Well, a polyrhythm is two or more rhythms or two or more subdivisions being played at the same time. So right now we're playing quarter notes between the bass drum and the snare drum. We're playing eighth notes with our hi-hat. I'm going to start off playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal with this, okay? So it's going to sound like this. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4, 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4. Now, the key to being able to play the quarter notes on the ride, combining with the 16th notes with the left hand, okay, or the weaker hand, is you got to remember those quarter notes on the ride are going to land with your bass drum and your snare drum. That's it. They're not going to land anywhere else in between. If you're playing quarter notes, I recommend starting off with quarter notes on the ride. Okay, so let me demonstrate that again. And make sure you're counting. Very important, okay? 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4, 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4. So line up those quarter notes, okay? I know what's probably going to happen or may happen is some of you guys are going to be trying to play the 16th notes with your hand over here. So maybe one technique might be just 1, and maybe just pull your stick back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Without the 16th notes, okay, just a simple quarter note groove with your right cymbal, bass drum, and snare drum is going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do it, as with every exercise, you can do it one beat at a time. Play this one beat at a time, just like this. You can go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And once you get to where you feel more comfortable with the independence, with playing the quarter notes on the ride, moving your left hand or your weaker hand around the kit with your 16th notes, okay? Then you can start to build up the speed, something like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, so on and so forth. Now, once you feel comfortable with the quarter notes on the ride, next step, let's add eighth notes on the ride. So see, this is where we take this one exercise, we just continue to expand on it, okay? So now I'm going to be playing 3 different rhythms, right? I'm going to be playing still quarter notes between the kick and the snare, 16th notes with my weak hand moving around the kit, and we'll play eighth notes here. It's going to be something like this, okay? 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay? Again, we can slow that down. So if you need to slow it down, break it down to one beat at a time. And again, I really believe that some students or some people who try this, some drummers who try this, you're going to try to play your 16th notes here. You're not playing your 16th notes here. You're playing quarter notes and eighth notes here on the right, okay? A little slower. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 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 Right now I'm playing 3-way coordination. Right foot and my hands, right? Both hands. Now I'm going to add in four-way coordination. So this continues to advance, but see, you start with the easiest variation first. Once you learn the easiest variation, then it's like building blocks, right? You start off with the easiest one, and then you just continue to work on it to get harder. Right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. Okay, so I'm going to play 2 and 4 with my snare. Still, I'm going to go ahead and keep the eighth notes on the right cymbal, okay, because I don't want to digress. Now you can if you need to. If you need to go back to quarter notes to add 2 and 4 on the hi-hat with your left foot, that's perfectly fine, okay? We got to be able to play it both ways. We should be able to play it with the quarter notes on the right and the eighth notes on the right, eighth note on the right cymbal, okay? So with the eighth notes on the right, hi-hat on 2 and 4, 16th notes with the weak hand, it's going to be just like this. Now, I'm going to take it up another step, okay? I'm going to go ahead and add quarter notes on the hi-hat now, okay? So I'll just demonstrate an eighth notes on the right cymbal, an eighth note groove, kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, quarter notes on the hi-hat. It's going to sound just like this. So now I'm going to add to that my 16th notes going around the kit with my weaker hand. It's going to sound just like this. Okay, so it's starting to get pretty complex now. Okay, because now you got to really think about what you're playing on each limb, okay? So you're playing your eighth notes here on the right, your left foot is playing those quarter notes, and then your weaker hand, I keep saying left hand, sorry, your weaker hand is moving around the kit, okay? Now, yes, you can also play this with your stronger hand. I don't want anyone to think that, oh, John said you can't play that with your stronger hand. Yeah, you can, of course, but it's primarily the whole purpose of this video, of this exercise, is to build the weaker hand, okay? So what else can we do with this? Well, how about if we, with our eighth notes on the right, instead of just playing on the bow of the cymbal, how about if we go back and forth between the bow and the bell? Like so, okay? And you don't have to do a big, huge movement with that. It's just the tip of the stick on the bow, and then the shank of the stick, or the shoulder on the bell. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So I'm going to play the same idea, but this time I'm going to play that pattern on the right cymbal, okay? It's going to go like this. Tougher, okay, a little tougher, because yeah, you're still playing eighth notes, but now you've got to think about, well, I've got to move my stick back and forth, right, between the bow and the bell, okay. So there's a lot of different variations you can play with this. What if we did this? What if we do quarter notes on the right, and we play eighth notes in the hi-hat, say? So now in a groove, just in your standard groove without the 16th notes going around the kit, going to sound something like this, okay? Okay. Now, honestly, I don't normally play eighth notes on the hi-hat myself. I know there are several drummers that do. Some of the top drummers, if you watch them play, they switch their right cymbal. They've got their eighth notes going with their left foot, or whichever their hi-hat foot is. I typically don't. Sometimes I'll play, depending on the song, I'll play quarter notes on the hi-hat, sometimes offbeat notes. But I'm not one of those guys that usually uses eighth notes. But for this exercise, as I was working on it, and again, I'm just kind of expanding on what I filmed last year, I thought, you know what, we could do that. We could actually add eighth notes on the hi-hat. So this is how you would play this exercise with the eighth notes on the hi-hat with your foot, quarter notes on the ride, bass on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4, and 16th notes moving around the kit. Starting to get a little more complex now, okay? Now, what's another variation we could do? Well, what if I go ahead and play 16th notes on the right cymbal, okay? And I'll start off with quarter notes on the right, okay? Still playing my 16th notes around the kit. So in this case, the hands will be more matched up now. See, up till now, the hands have been playing completely different subdivisions, okay? So now I'm still going to leave the first note out on my weak hand, but now I'm going to go ahead and play the 16th notes on the right. So let's see what that would sound like here. I'll get this going first. And that's just a 16th note groove on the right cymbal. Just playing my kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. Okay, so here it is with the adding in the weaker hand now. And I'll play quarter notes on the hi-hat with my left foot. Okay. All right, for the last one, I'm going to go ahead and play the eighth notes again with the hi-hat, with my left foot. I'll continue to play the 16th notes on the ride, and I'll play my 16th note variation around the kit, okay? So let's see what that would sound like here. And I'll go ahead and play the groove first with the eighth notes on the hi-hat, 16ths on the ride. So it's going to be like this. That's a polyrhythm right there, because I'm playing your quarter notes between the bass and the snare, 16th notes on the ride, 8th notes on the hi-hat. It's polyrhythm, 3 different subdivisions. I'm still going to play 16th notes, right? So I'm not adding a new rhythm, but my 4th limb that was just simply playing 2 and 4 on the snare is now going to get a whole lot busier, okay? So here's how it would sound with your 16ths on the ride, 16ths with the left hand, 8th notes on with the hi-hat, kick and snare, 2 and 4. So there is an idea of video for you guys to watch and listen to. Take your time with this. I did not learn this all in one day or 1 week. It took a while to practice this, and I'm still working on it. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that, oh, I've got this down 100%. No, it still takes effort to be able to play all this. So there's a lot going on with these polyrhythms. They can get pretty complex. So for lessons like this, and I also do teach beginners from beginners who come in and say, hey, I've never held a pair of drumsticks in my hand. I enjoy working with beginners. I've got several students actually who come here to the school who, when they started here, that's where they were at. They had never played before, and they're all playing music, and I'm so proud of them, and it's a joy and a privilege to work with each one of them. Orlando Fine Arts Academy, we're a music and art school here in Lake Nona. So if you're looking to start learning either drums, guitar, piano, voice lessons, we also have art classes here at Orlando Fine Arts Academy. We've got a few dance classes right now. But the information for the school will be here on the video, the contact information. Also, if you don't live here close to Lake Nona in this area of Orlando, if you possibly live in a different area of Orlando or even a different part of the country, because I also offer private lessons. I can either come to your home for lessons, or if you prefer, I can teach online. I am equipped to teach online lessons as well. For the in-home lessons and also here at the school, we are following all COVID-19 safety protocols. We are wearing masks and being very careful as far as social distancing goes. So if you know someone, a loved one who is interested in music lessons, contact the school or contact me today, and I will get you started, or we will get you started on your musical journey. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and take care.